What is your main style of training right now?
Main style? CrossFit. Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to transfer over to all strength. The main way to be the most explosive, most powerful, and to get the most amount of weight moved from a physics standpoint comes from force. Okay? The only way we can produce force is from the floor. So right now, typically from like a bench press style of like a bodybuilder, you don't use any force because they're trying to isolate. Powerlifting style, full body movement, that's gonna transfer over to your guys' sport the most. So I'm gonna mess with you guys trying to make it a full body movement so that you're generating force from your feet the whole time. So we're constantly creating force from the floor going through you into the bench, which goes into the bar. Okay? So we'll throw a 25 on. All right, set up.
You want to raise them up more?
No, not yet. All right, so right now you have a flat back. From a full body standpoint, I'm gonna want to be able to move my arm directly under your lower back. So what I want you to do is I want you to put your hands here, and I'm gonna move your feet out. Now, everything that we're gonna do right here is gonna be the exact same as a squat. So I want you to externally rotate, perfect. Now I want you to do a gymnastics bridge. So I want you to take your hands, push your body down this way, and at the same time, press back so that you arch up. Good, now lower your butt down. Keep pressing with your legs, but keep your butt down. Externally rotate. Got it. Now I'm gonna come on the back side of you. So right now you have a stable position, right? So I'm gonna force you to create force throughout this whole movement. So you feel my hands? Feel how I'm grabbing your traps. I want you to externally rotate with your legs like you're squatting and push your whole body into me and roll up on your traps. Good, now keep your butt down while you do it. Keep pressing into me. Now hold that the whole time. So just like electricity, we have constant force from the floor transferring into this bench, which is then gonna move this bar away. So grabbing your hand position while keeping tension in your legs. That tension never leaves your legs the whole time, okay? Unrack, walk it out, keep externally rotating and tension in your legs. Squeeze the lats, tuck the elbows in, and reach your chest up to the bar. Good, keep the tension in your legs. Keep pressing into me with your whole body through your, there you go. Keep that tension into me, good, good. Three more, keep pressing into me. Last one. Good. Rack.
How'd that feel?
Interesting.
Now, as the weight goes up, when you're externally rotating, you're rigid, but that force going through your spinal erectors, you should feel like an old man every time you get up. Most of the time when you hear people benching and they get up, they're like, oh, because there's a ton of strain right here. It's not because it's going to that area, it's you're so rigid, like you said, it's transferring all of that force through your back. So your spinal erectors are fired the whole time.
That's all.
Good. All right, here we go. All right. Oh. Good, hands here. Now I want you to drive back towards me and start sliding so your eyes become parallel right here. Good, keep rolling up on your traps. Now, I want you to rotate your knees out like you're squatting. There you go, now hold that position. Grab the bar. Good, keep driving out with your legs. Walk it out, walk it out. Good, keep pressing into my hands with your legs. There you go, good. Good racket. There you, right? Yeah. So, second thing. Right. Now, when you are fully fired, every lift is going to be tensionized so that you can transfer force more, you're more stable, which is going to equate more weight.
Yeah, you almost like if you're on the bench, like if you try to push, you should just not even move.
Like if someone came up to you and ran into you, you would not move at all.
Right.
So, second thing, breathing. okay? Same thing with squatting, you wanna be stable in your squat. Same thing with deadlifting. Same thing with snatching, all of it, okay? Front squatting, everything. So, if you're inhaling on the way down, your trunk is right here. This is similar to a balloon, okay? You have external load above you, and we're creating force from the floor, so we have external load below us. So we have two external loads pressing down on our trunk. This is exactly like a balloon. So if you press a balloon, what happens before it pops?
Expands out, right?
It displaces.
Yeah.
So if you're breathing while you are under external load, now that force isn't transferring to the bar.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So you were exhaling on the way down. So your balloon is getting compressed. If you take that breath of air and brace, now all the force you're producing is going directly into the bench, into the bar.
Okay.
So take your breath and hold it on the top end.
Okay.
Keep it all the way back to the top and then rebreathe.
Okay.
And then it'll feel more stable.
So exhale on the way up.
Don't exhale at all.
Don't exhale
you
at all.
hold your
Okay,
breath
hold
down
it
and up.
Okay.
Because it's that balloon aspect.
Gotcha.
If you collapse that balloon, the weight
Right.
is going to collapse you.
Yeah, it's just like if you set up for a squat, you're gonna hold
Exactly.
it. Hold it.
Exact
Breathe
same
at the top,
concept.
right.
Now, as far as a powerlifter goes, we need to be most efficient throughout the whole movement.
Right.
So we have to do it on every single lift, or else you're going to get crushed. All right, let's put a 45 on.
He's a fucking transformer.
All right, here we go.
Safety first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good. Now I want you to push back so your eyes are about right here. I want you to move your feet out that way. There, right there. Now try and roll up on your traps more. Good. Tension in the legs. 1, 2, up. Good. If you breathe. Yes, sir. Reach your chest up to meet the bar. There you go.
What's the bar path kind of look like here? I've always kind of heard different things about how the bar should come into your body.
So, it's a great question. It's gonna vary depending on where your arm position is. So we're close grip. So it's gonna touch differently for him because his arms are probably like 4 times as long as mine. He doesn't flare. Okay, so he's able to isolate his triceps a lot more as opposed to somebody that comes down and flares out. When you flare, the bar path is going to shift.
Right.
Okay? Flaring is a big thing taught in geared bench pressing. It's not a bad thing.
So you flaring the elbows
when you
out.
flare the elbows out.
Yeah.
You don't flare the elbows out directly off your chest. Okay? You'll see a lot of people, if they flare out right here, that's where they're gonna fail.
Okay.
When you flare, you turn off your lat more than when you are going down.
Right.
Okay? Most people think of a bench press as chest. Your chest is not a main
lot of
mover.
lats,
It's
yeah.
all back. That's
Yeah,
why you see
yeah.
powerlifters have massive backs.
Right.
Because bench press, your prime mover is your lat.
Right.
It's the most stable muscle and it's the biggest. And it's the only thing sitting on an inanimate object. So now you have a really big muscle being supported by a bench. So we want to get that whole load in our lat. If you come down in a bench press and you're loading your lats, the second you flare, that decreases
Yeah.
the load.
Right.
So
Right.
most people will flare once they are off their chest, and that will allow them to recruit more triceps. So most big benchers you see flare will be about 2 to 3 inches off of their chest, where they need less lat, but then they can flare out and drive it through the rest of the way. As far as what we're doing today, I want you guys to try and keep tucked in the whole time because we're going to be focused more on tricep. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Reach that chest up to meet the bar. Good. 3 more.
So you would tell people like this setup is definitely less about isolation, more about full body power.
And that's the,
Because that's how you're gonna lift the most weight.
right. And like you'll see debates online and everything. It's gonna be everywhere. People will be like, well, don't arch your back.
Right.
You're gonna
Oh
hurt
yeah, you
yourself.
see so many haters all
right?
the time.
And like I get it.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Most people think if you put your back into extension excessively, that could be, I mean, you could hurt yourself. I get it. However, from a physics standpoint, and I always give this analogy to everybody, what one man-made structure across the world has an arch in it that transfers force and is one of the most stable objects ever
From an
made?
engineering perspective, the arch is how you create, distribute force. Yeah.
And the one object, and you'll see it everywhere, no one ever thinks about it, is a bridge.
Right.
A bridge can sustain thousands, massives of loads at one time, and it disperses it across the bridge, which allows transportation. We're doing the exact same thing, essentially. It's the most stable position that we can make our body go into to transfer force the most efficiently.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying
Be
like
a bridge.
Be a bridge, exactly. So from a bodybuilding standpoint, their goal isn't to move the most amount of weight, so they don't need to do it. So
This is,
they're
we're chasing a number here.
exactly. That's all it is, and that's the specific goal of powerlifting.
Right.
So
Lift the most weight.
all the time.
Yep.
All right, we're going for 10.
Like
Keep
how
it tight all the way down to your chest. There.
Now I noticed we're doing stuff with the board. I like how it's like attached to the bar. So what would be the purpose of using the board?
So this is going to take place of a one-board wooden board. The benefits for this is you don't need a training partner to hold the board, and that's why they actually came out with these.
But specifically, what would be kind of the benefit of using a board in general for the bench?
Perfect question. So it can be done for a variety of things. First one is going to be similar to like the Swiss bar or specialty bars. If you have shoulder issues, using a decreased range of motion is going to still allow you to get your workout in. You're still able to activate the proper musculature that you need.
Yeah.
So any sport, if you're injured in, that takes away, especially if you're a competitive athlete, it takes away from your progression. The number one thing I can't stress enough, if you're injured, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. That doesn't mean you can't lift anymore. There's always something in the gym that you can do to progress yourself, and this is just one of those aspects. Right now in my training right now, I just came off of meet. So there's no need for me to be doing any type of competition lift. So my coach programmed in using the boards to decrease the range of motion. I changed up my grip. It's very far away from a competition movement. It's basically, we're doing high reps and not a lot of sets, but it's a pump session, if you will, and this is just one of the variables I've added in. We have these that go from one board all the way up to 4 board. If you really want to isolate triceps, try doing close grip with a 4 board. The range of motion is going to be super small. You can make the weight go really high up, but it's such an isolation movement on your tricep that most people don't think how much you use your triceps at the lockout of a bench press. But if you throw a 4 board on here,
It's triceps.
right, but when it isolates and stops you and then you have to come right back up, it never leaves your tricep, as opposed to where this, on a 1 board, we can make it leave our triceps if we wanted to and then reactivate.
Yeah, this would be great for Olympic weightlifters who struggle with locking out for the jerk because this is going to work the triceps, and that jerk lockout is a big, huge deal if your triceps are not strong enough.
Very cool.
So,
Very cool.
Would you ever use the board to overload? So, for instance, like let's say your bench is like 300, but you use the board to maybe put on like 310, 315 and practice with heavier weight because you have the decreased range of motion.
From a board standpoint, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because this isn't aiding you in the lift. Although it's decreasing your range of motion, if you want to do overload stuff, I would say slingshot or reverse bands. You want to feel the load at lockout, but decreasing the load on the way down of accommodative resistance, that's the key of the overload.
Okay.
The overload is so you can feel it at the top end. You're able to handle the weight through the range of motion and come back up.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing an overload and you're not going through your full range of motion, is it really helpful?
It's gonna make you weak in that body.
Exactly. So if we're overloading from a 1 board, or let's go to the extreme and do a 4 board, you're not activating your lats, and for a power lifter, that's going to be detrimental to me. So now I'm like, okay, I have 400 pounds, and now I'm going through a partial range of motion. What happens after that range of motion leaves? Yes, I'm overloaded at lockout, but nothing ever, I never get through a full range of motion to feel what it's gonna feel like. So, and that's why reverse bands or slingshot are awesome, because the weight is with you. You go to full range of motion, and then as you're pressing, the weight starts getting added back onto you really fast.
I was hoping you'd bring up reverse bands. I love reverse bands.
Yeah, dude, it's fun.
Well, it's like a mental thing too. You know, you load it up at 450, but you know, if your max pull is 400, you load up at 450. Sometimes your brain has to know that you can lift the weight when you see the weight on the bar.
Absolutely.
So it's a huge mental tool.
And they're fun to mess with.
Yeah, exactly.
Super fun to mess with. All right, you're up.
My triceps are lit up.
That's our first tricep.
I love close grip.
It's only getting better. Yeah, we got about 3 today that we're gonna get terrorized on.
I'm used to this. Getting that bounce from kipping bench press.
Look at his
I'm gonna use that. What? So he's a cheater.
Well, that,
He has
3 inches to go.
Exactly. Now,
This is pretty.
3 inches, and that's close grip for him. So imagine if he had a wider grip. Yeah. He gets ripped on
his arms
every day.
Not that
Every day, because his
That's
range of
awesome.
motion is
What's
so
your max
good.
bench?
Terrible.
He looks like poop.
Yeah, you do.
A stronger version.
Gotta do more bench. Probably. I noticed another thing too with you is like both of you, like, the lowering is very controlled, it's smooth, it's gentle touch to the chest, very under control. You see a lot of people, they'll come down, they'll try to like get a little bit of a bounce off the chest.
I'm in the process of trying to write an article about this, and this is like huge, especially what I see in CrossFit. So, what's one of the scientific terms from an exercise sports science standpoint that everyone keeps throwing around to get into the hole really fast and get out?
Oh yeah,
Stretch reflex, okay? If you dive bomb into the hole, do you actually think you're using a stretch reflex? It's not there. Well, not only your position, now what are you turning off? The tension's gone from the muscle fibers. The whole deal with muscle is their characteristics is elasticity. If you completely let go of your muscle fibers, there's no elasticity to have. Right, so that eccentric motion, we want to go down fast, but if we go down fast without having those muscle fibers tension, there's nothing to snap back. So the hardest part is teaching people to understand that concept, because you can't get too scientific with people that are getting into it because they don't understand it. So finding that balance of like, most people don't even know what a muscle fiber is. They don't know what myosin actin heads are. So it's like, go down kind of fast. Like when you tell a beginner that, they're like, okay, just drop. You're like, nah, not exactly like that. So
Set it down.
do a lot of tempo.
right.
A lot of tempo. I've noticed, I looked at your training logs, you've been doing some triphasic stuff lately. Yeah, so you've been doing some east. Yeah, we had him on the show. Yeah.
That man blows my mind. So our programming that David wrote for us, based off of Cal Dietz's triphasic, I loved it. The eccentric, the isometric, the concentric phases applies to powerlifting in every single way. So like everybody that was running it benefited from it completely, and they have more control. The pausing on all of their stuff for bench press, even squatting, it was amazing. So the transfer that it had to the actual competition lift was just phenomenal.
We reference his book and part of his episode in almost every show since.
It was the best refresher from school. Like they should sell that book in school, and people would like just have light bulbs. Because I remember learning that stuff in class, and it wasn't as clear from a teacher that it was in the book, and I was like, this is perfect.
Who's up?
I guess me.
Oh yeah,
How heavy was that last one? Not bad? Yeah, 185. Have you done this one yet?
He hadn't done this yet.
I haven't done this yet.
All right, here we go.
I mean, I know it's not the topic right now, but the pump is real. The tricep pump is real.
Set it.
Come on, Alex.
Reach that chest up. Two more. Good. Chest up, chest up.
Oh yeah.
All right, you got 2 more sets at that.
Man, that makes such a huge difference. I haven't benched in a while. It's just remember. No, I'm not. But just remembering that tightness, because Chris went over all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like one of those things. Like, okay, well, I'm just gonna bench or whatever. And you don't.
Yeah, if I don't do it every
If you
day.
don't practice that, setup, you're just not gonna do it. But that setup is huge.
Like, most people don't think how much stuff goes into this movement. Even squatting, cleaning, jerking, all that. They're like, oh, this is just a movement. They go through the motions. Man, I can't tell you how many people are like, there's so much stuff that goes into that. And that's an all strength movement. Try not to bounce. Chest up, chest up.
There you
Yes,
go.
that's it. Yes, sir. Chest up. Reach your chest up.
There you go.
That's one.
My balloon was deflating. Oh. I was like,
What do you notice?
I mean, it's a technique thing for sure, more than anything right now. Like, I want to resort to path of least resistance and go back to the old benching ways, so I'm trying to remember it. That's really the hardest part right now. I was like,
When you hit it, do you notice a difference?
yeah, I feel very solid for sure. I mean, it's the easiest set of 10 at 225 I've ever done.
It's like butter.
All right, we got 45 off, 25 on.
Now I know that we're like hundreds of pounds away from what you're capable of doing for a set of 10, but you're holding your breath for all of them.
Yes. So, for, like we were talking about earlier about the bracing and the force transfer,
Sure.
when the weight goes up, obviously that's going to decrease. So when it comes to like pump sets and rep sets and stuff like that,
Okay.
for me personally, it helps me isolate what I need to isolate. If I can take one breath and hold it for the max amount of reps or the
Right.
prescribed reps, I'd rather do that than having to reset because
Yeah.
now I'm thinking about more stuff.
Sure. No, got it.
Chest up.
Reach that chest. Reach the chest up. Chest up, chest up. Good. Yeah, you go. One more. Come on.
Come on, Alex. Come on.
There it is. Good. Lock. Woo. One more.
It's like learning to snatch again. I gotta think about what I'm doing.
Dude, that coffee is kicking.
Oh yeah.
Thank you
I
guys.
need it.
All right.
I was struggling.
I got all the energies and caffeine today. Tight all the way down to your chest.
Come on.
Tight all the way down to your chest. Reach that chest up. Come on, come on.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
3 more. Last one, chest up, chest up, chest up.
Nice.
What do you think?
It's good stuff. I like it. It's reminds me I haven't been practicing, I haven't been working on my bench technique, but it definitely does help. I like the board just because of the decreased range of motion. You can work that lockout a lot better. So good stuff.
lower back ever cramp up from arching? Yeah. What do you do to try and get away from it?
Typically speaking, foam rolling, we like to implement DeFranco's Limber 11. That usually relieves lower back pain or lower back tightness really quick. Most people, when they do upper body stuff, they're only going to warm up their upper body.
Sure.
You will see all of us, when we warm up, it will be a full body thing, especially with hips, because if you start externally rotating and creating that torque and that force, your hamstring will cramp, your glute will cramp, and then your back will cramp.
I'm not bullshitting right now. My glutes, my abs, everything's fired up right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely cramping up a little bit on that. Yeah.
not used to doing hip mobility or whatnot, dude, you're going to cramp up hard if you're bench pressing the right way.
Talking about low back, you're doing your first hyper.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's in every one of our programs. I hate that machine, but it has made my total go up significantly, but I still hate the machine. Like, it's awful.
What do you hate about it?
I hate lower back.
Yeah.
Like, lower back pumps are the most painful thing in the world. I know it's okay, right, for days, and it doesn't go away, and it's just like you're doing something completely different, and it's still coming back and haunting you. You're just like, I can't function.
All right, Alex, last set.
Yeah.
Get a quick 10.
Oh, yeah. I feel like a 1.
Come on. Chest up, chest up.
Easy peasy. There you go. You said you want to have enough arch to reach an arm under, maybe.
Yes.
You could crawl under him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like,
That's good too, right?
there's gonna be loopholes. Like, some of the biggest female
Oh yeah, I've seen
with that massive arch,
Yeah.
like,
Especially in the upper
technically-
back extension. That's
right.
so much.
So technically speaking, they follow the rules of most federations.
What's their rule?
But it's, you can have an arch, but you have to have a 4-point stance. Your
Okay.
feet have to be on the floor, your butt has to be on your back,
Shoulders.
and technically your head, shoulders, but some people's
Oh,
head
yeah.
come up. That's not a disqualification. But if your butt lifts, if your foot position moves from when you start, that's going to be a red light.
Oh really?
So if you've seen any of the videos online or whatnot, some of these females have massive arches. So they're, I don't want to say they're beating the system, they're following the guidelines.
Yeah.
But if you have a lot of mobility, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
However, it's a double-edged sword. If you have a lot of mobility, increased mobility can decrease your strength or stability at that. So yes, they've gotten very far with it. Yes, a world record is set by it, but is that going to be pushed a lot further? Who knows? So it's one of those.
Fake boobs help too.
But and that's the joke. Like, if you have
I've
a
seen people do chest bars.
right.
They're just doing it out here.
But it's a disadvantage for a lot of other things.
I don't mean just chicks.
Trade-off.
Dudes could just get a big pump set. Right now, my chest to bars are gonna be easier. My chest feels like it's out here.
Close grip bench press make chest to bar easier.
Get boobs.
Now you're gonna see a bunch of guys walking around with like really big implants make chest to bar easier.
You remember the man show where the guy he was on there, he had a bet that he wouldn't get boob implants, and he did. You know what's funny? He's as big as I guess that counts. There you go.
Chest up.
So
I have longer arms than you, yet my grip is more narrow than yours.
So
Do you bench really wide, and this is close grip for you?
I used to.
Okay.
So this is gonna be a widely varied answer.
Okay. Good. Those are the best.
Yeah. I have terrible shoulder mobility. So there's going to be certain things that I do because of my shoulder
Okay.
that isn't going to apply to everybody else.
Sure.
So I used to have a really wide grip on my bench press. That terrorized my shoulder and tricep.
Yeah.
So I can't do that anymore. When I was holding wide, I was actually getting internally rotated because the bar was pressing in. Now I have to come closer. If I go too close, I'll compensate. And then my triceps, I have an issue of my lat impinges my tricep. So when I come too far in, I want to engage my lat too much, and then it puts a ton of strain on my elbow and my tricep. So I have to find a medium point in the middle, and that is where it ends up being. So
Cool.
last one.
It's a rep roller.
Powerlifters are lazy, so we're gonna find we'll find any way to make life easier.
Yeah, I've seen them with the drills and stuff. We've seen them advocated that works out here. He made it. So it's really cool.
Let's walk it out, chest up. Chest up. Yeah, there you go. Breathe. Get your breathing down. Come on, come on. 2 more. Let's go. Get up. Big breath. Big breath. Big breath. Chest up. Drive. Lock, 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 lock. Good.
Man. Yeah.
That last press.
That
like
last
5
was,
seconds.
yeah, I know.
Got all the way.
That was, oh man.
How'd he do, coach?
We picked the perfect weight because he barely got the last one on the last set.
Yeah, I'm going 275.
Breathing got all off that one.
I'm done.
I already mentioned Richard. You guys just missed them. They were in here last night. Richard Bros. He actually hurt himself. Oh, dude, he's awesome.
Yeah, I trained with those guys long
Way
time ago,
back,
since
dude.
the beginning, yeah.
Dude, you're taking it way back if you were training with them. Golly. That was what, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Probably.
Richard and Johnny,
2009,
all used to come across in Memphis, the original. Yep. Strongman Saturdays.
Dude, I hear stories about that. Like, okay. Dude, you're gonna hurt some feelings if I ask them that question.
Didn't you run like a marathon or something that day or
I did a
something?
half marathon that day, then came in and platformed it, and they were so pissed. They were so mad.
Dude, I'd be pissed off too. I'd be like, that's it, I'm done. I'm gonna find a different sport. All right, you're up. Are you good at this weight or you wanna go up?
I'm ready to get up. Great question.
Damn, I only did 315 in the meet.
I keep forgetting we're using a block.
Right?
He said that he'd only do 315 in the meet. Come on. There you go.
Let's go, finish
One more
it.
time.
Oh my gosh.
What'd you say your best is in a meet?
315.
What's your limiter? In the bench.
Weakness.
I mean,
No, I really.
I'm not strong enough. Oh.
I psych myself out. Like it's
Okay.
it's mostly mental. Like
Sure.
I have a block at 315. I've done 335, but never in a meet.
Gotcha.
So like this meet, I attempted 330, and like I normally touch right here. I touched like here. I was like, I got this. Oh shoot, I don't got it. So.
Most people don't understand the difference of training and a meet, and that goes for everything.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's powerlifting, CrossFit, Olympic lifting, it is such a there's such a big mental and just the atmosphere of a meet that
All
throws
that
every
stuff. I
dude.
mean, you don't have your normal routine. Everything is different. There's a lot of people around. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest lesson to teach beginners, because they're like, well, I'm not going to do a meet because I'm not ready. Like, no, you'll never be ready. You're never going to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna happen. Like you gotta deal with it.
The most, and they're not ready to accept that fact. So it's just eventually it's going to happen that you're going to screw up big
I would
time.
argue if you don't compete, you won't know what to do in training to make actual progress. Yeah, like
Great point.
You staying here?
Yeah. Alright. I'll make you feel good about yourself.
I appreciate that. You gotta win sometime.
Come on now.
There you go. One more.
more higher volume type day, you typically do a lot, or like what else would you do today?
Oh man, today we got a lot of isolation stuff.
Okay, so this is more of an accessory type day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, I am exactly 1 week and 3 days past my last competition.
Oh yeah, last week.
This is as far away from powerlifting movements that I will be. Like Monday, we did front squats to a low box and deadlifting off of mats, and it was just volume. It was a lot of reps, and that's how it's going to stay for the next probably 8 weeks before I choose my next meet, and then I'll jump back into more powerlifting specific stuff that's going to help me personally.
Right.
So
this is more kind of just working on imbalances and things like that.
Imbalances, GPP,
weakness,
getting my stamina up, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Getting you prepared.
Exactly.
Do the more specific stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Making my base bigger.
For sure. Yeah, and that's where you can do it when you're technically far away from a meet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like the way we kind of talk about it here is it's a pyramid.
Right.
The only way to get a bigger pyramid is to have a bigger base.
That's a Louis Simmons.
How tall is the pyramid?
Exactly.
As wide as his base.
Base.
And it's one of those things where like our training style, we peak for a meet. So we believe that you're not like, I shouldn't say believe. Our theory, or we theorize, or how I was raised in the industry is you peak for a meet at that one time, that one day. You don't stay that strong all year round. So it's like you train for the meet, and then after that you break it all down, you rebuild it, and now your peak is high.
Absolutely. Yep. I think that's it with any strength sport.
No.
He said this is cardio for him.
Dude, you're still breathing hard. Don't even.
I'm more breathing. Yeah, I mean, being tight like that. I mean, that just you were like, hey, why are you out of breath? I'm like, that's kind of tired.
Tiger piss?
I wasn't ready to answer that question at all. No, that's Intra MD. Intra MD. It's one of John Meadows'
Intra training?
Yeah, intra training drinks. So it's got, I'm not gonna lie, it's got a bunch of stuff in it. It's a carbohydrate drink. It's a carbohydrate powder. It's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So this is one of them that hasn't upset my stomach, and that's why I stay with it.
Do they sell it in the milk jug?
No, I really wanted to say yes.
Dude,
to that.
dude, let's be the first people to come out with a supplement.
That would actually be a really
Oh
cool
my
idea.
god! Like pre-made jugs?
Pre-made
Oh,
intra
fuck,
workout
let's do it.
drinks.
Actually, I saw for the first time a member come in here with a milk jug cooler sleeve.
Oh, like a koozie.
Like a koozie for a milk jug. Yes. And I
A Yeti?
it took me off guard, so I looked at him for like 10 minutes. And I couldn't I was like, I don't know what to ask him. Like, where did you find that? Obviously, it was on a website, and it was just something like milk jug. It literally was like milkjugkoozie.com or something like that. Jugsy, there you go.
Oh man, we gotta come out with that.
Seriously.
Oh shit.
I took it all balance on it so quick. I think I was gonna finish some shake.
Because you can't do that in a regular day.
And that's the difference between like training and competing.
Yeah.
You'll never ever be able to mimic it, and you just won't. You can't do it. And it's kind of like you typically wouldn't squat, bench, and deadlift all on the same day.
Yeah.
You
Right.
just wouldn't do that because that's not conducive to pushing yourself to like focus in on that movement.
Right.
You can squat and deadlift on the same day. I've squat and